Ladies, gentlemen, and others in chat, welcome to another drawing stream. So I figured we're just gonna continue with this ridiculously overly ambitious manga project of mine. A thing that I noticed last time, because I got tunnel vision and lost into the gun, which, you know, all things considered, turned out rather nice. Yeah, it's a trace, but drawing all of that, and I mean, now that I look at it, it's not even completely finished. I forgot the sort of green, the cut-ins on the magazine I see, but whatever. It gave me an appetizer for what just exactly how daunting drawing that gosh darn thing is. So yeah, I'm gonna be heavily relying on references. When it comes to that thing, and I would probably also need to find some way to incorporate, quote unquote, automate it. Like maybe make a vector shape for all of these swirly swirl things, and yeah. But on today's menu, initially it was go like, oh yeah, we also need to do the backside of the gun, but I don't know, chat. That might not necessarily be the most exciting thing. It feels like, yeah, it's kind of important, but like, this is the outside of the gun. Like, that's the one that, because she's right-handed, her right hand is going to be here on the trigger. Excuse me. Therefore, right, so her arm is going to go over. Her elbow is probably going to be something around here, and then the arm goes down here, and, you know, shoulder here, something like that. So the idea that so this is the side that we will most likely see, unless we sort of see it from. But even then, her torso would be like in front of the whole snake and magazine part. So then it would kind of be just like from the trigger and out. Like, you might have to like plan the rest of the thing to sort of go like, to make sure that the butt of the gun rod aligns, and also all these gosh darn spikes. But that doesn't really sound too complicated, right? Because then you can skip a lot of this mess here, and then just deal with sort of like focus on like the from the gun handle and out towards the barrel, tip of the barrel. So I don't necessarily think, we'll see. I don't think so, but we can always take a lot of what we already have and then just flip it and sort of hit the ground running, because yeah, it's the swirly pattern here is identical. I might have to create this white swirly pattern. I might try to recreate that in Inkscape, because then I have an SVG and then I can just pop that in. But for today, we would start. I still want to do facial expressions. I even done some prepping research. I have Making Comics by Scott McCloud, where he has a section that goes over facial expressions. And we have, well, you don't see that because I'm only sharing the, but yeah, we have also, if I drag, can I just drag and drop that image in here? I don't think so. Well, what's going on? Alright, well, then we'll just... I'll just copy that and... edit... Paste as reference image, yeah. Oh, okay, that was super tiny, but... yeah. This is by Chomang from Instagram. So this is the kind of style that we would like to go for in terms of face. So put a pin on that, chat. But for now, let's just do the boot. Because we need to, I would like to do the boot in profile view, and also, where is it? Ah, here. The back view of the boot. Just so I get a feel for it, chat. And I'm not sure if this black segment of her boot is a thing or not, because from what I can remember, the little, I revisited the game, and from what I could tell, it was like, no, she didn't have this black segment on her boots. What does that mean, chat? Most likely it's some sort of textural glitch, because like I know that her skirt, for instance, doesn't have this collar on the outside. It's only an internal collar. So there's something about Blender not properly doing the Blender thing. Yeah, nail it. The Blender is not doing the right Blender thing. I know words. We're just gonna erase and also erase. Not that much, a little bit. So, what you been up to, chat? What have you been up to? Me and a buddy of mine went to the movies, and we saw Predator Badlands. That's surprisingly good. It's kind of hard to measure up with the classics, but yeah, like it was perfect, a-okay, serviceable. Action movie. There are some minor grievances I had with it here and there. A little too possibly a little bit too light on the humor, but I don't know. Not super sure if I'm completely sold on the idea of the Predator being given a speaking role, but I suppose the character and franchise needs to evolve and try new things. So it is what it is. But yeah. That was good fun. And it actually got me to revisit a Blast from the Past earlier today. Alien vs. Predator. I have from what was it, 2013? Yeah, that was one of the few Predator games, and I also like checked out and I was surprised to see that the Predator. Oh wow, look at that! We got somebody from Twitch. Welcome, welcome. Enjoy your stay. But I got what the heck am I doing here? Where was I, chat? Yeah. Aliens vs. Predator 2013 edition. Well, that was something. It held up surprisingly well, all things considered. It's like, yeah, okay. Like they cooked a little bit with it, but yeah, it got me. Predator Badlands got me thinking of like, wouldn't it be like the Predator franchise and character is kind of like low-key, ideal Assassin's Creed kind of material, Just yeah, like here's a big sandbox. Go here are your targets. Some humans. Doesn't even have to be historically correct or anything like that. Alright, here's a bad. They could be bad people, they can be good people, doesn't really care. Doesn't really. But they could go like, alright, here's a bunch of like peak 8. You could go to the peak 80s kind of thing, which was what I suppose the original Predator movie was. With Schwarzenegger, and go like, yeah, here we go, peak. Some sort of, I don't know, Colombian drug lord, or South American drug lord, and I go like, the Predator's like, yeah, that's my prey. I'm gonna get that skull, and you just have this huge plot. For some reason, I keep coming back to like Just Cause 2, a map of that size, but you're the Predator, and you could just play around and just go like, there's an X amount of skulls to collect. That sounds so horrible. But yeah, you would do that, and then you could just run around and wreak havoc, basically, on whatever the heck it is that you want. Approach it any way that you want. You get upgrades. Like you start as a newbie, like a little snotty kid, and you get sent. And it's mating season or something. You go like, yeah, gotta impress the ladies. Gotta get some good trophies to impress the ladies, or something to that effect. And then you're gonna go like, oh yeah. And then you have that one cool uncle who go like, yeah, I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you some toys, some beginner toys, hand-me-downs or something like that. And you're like, all right, yeah, cool. And how the heck does this boot work? I'm yapping and I forget to draw. Oh, not the blah. Alright, okay, so technically speaking, I suppose I could just ditch all of that. Something like that. Okay. So yeah, that was kind of like, and it got me thinking, because I prefer Predator. Oh, this might be a little spicy hot take, chat, but I prefer the Predator over the Alien, the Xenomorph. That might be a too spicy hot take. That might be some ghost pepper tier hotness in terms of takes, but you know, that's just how I. And why didn't I copy this line when I had a chance? God dang it! Oh well, that's pretty close. I think. Maybe a little bit. Maybe just a little bit higher, chat. I swear one of these days, the mouse is gonna come and get me. You've been using too many Star Wars quotes in your streams. We're gonna demonetize your channel. Like, no. I didn't even know I was monetized in the first place. Anyway. So yeah. But yeah, when Predator Hunting Grounds, which is like an asymmetrical multiplayer third-person shooter thing, which is surprisingly live, because I thought it came and it kind of like plummeted and disappeared, and I go like, all right, yeah, that went down the same route as Evolved. But surprisingly, it's still alive in reduced capacity, but like I'm going like, oh yeah, no, we're patching, we're doing DLCs and stuff with it, and I go like, oh dang, look at them go. Hang on, I need to know what. No, oh, I suppose I could. Oh, okay, so it just needs to like. Okay, that's what it needs. That's what they need. Something like that. Yeah, that's something like that. Okay, now I'm gonna be smart, chat. I'm gonna copy paste. I'm not sure. All right, copy paste. Yeah, there we go. And then we're just gonna move that sucker down. But Predator Hunting Grounds. I figured that they could have. Okay, this brush is too big. I figured that they could have. I was like, those are some cool looking models of the Predator 3D models, because I do know that there are Predator comics, and yeah, your mileage may vary, but some of them are kind of slick. And I'm like, maybe, just maybe, I could find those models online, because I was like, oh, the game was made in Unreal Engine. I was like, that's like one of the big main video game engines. So probably some very smart and resourceful people made some sort of character model texture extractor and maybe I could. Oh, I knew that I felt that I copy pasted something wrong. Let's save. So, where I'm going, basically, I did some digging around on, but this is like a year or two ago, and I found it. I found it, chat. I found the models on some Russian site. I was like, ah, this looks shady. But it was legit. And not only that, another game that I really enjoyed, and also character designs that I liked doing, was Marvel. They had like this mobile game, more future. What was it? Future Revolution. That was a mobile game. And I go like, yeah. The main reason why I played it was because like, ooh, shiny, like the models of that game was like, dang, they look shiny and sparkling. And so for my main, I picked Captain Marvel because I kind of like her 2012 2012 redesign that they did. And that is a horrible placed line, but that's okay. That's okay, chat. We can just rotate it. Get rotated. Right? Boom. Wrong layer. Don't panic. We have Control Z. Can do that. Use the tools that we have. Use the tools. Not the force, but the tools that you have at disposal. Can't use the force, chat, because then the mouse would come and take us. Alright, now, essentially, we kind of just need to connect these two. Kinda like that. Just gonna move the pivot point. We're gonna tilt it a little bit down. And there you go. Yeah, and as luck with that game was also made in Unreal Engine. And I don't think that it was in the same site, but yeah, it was the that was the how much more, not just Captain Marvel, but also several of the other characters. I go like, yeah, maybe. It was not the same character design as in the comics, but it was very, very similar for Captain Marvel. I really like that because it's one of those things where, like, you can put a dude in the same costume and it wouldn't look weird. And that's I think that's a hallmark of a good superhero costume. At least if you want to go for the if you actually want to give the ladies a power fantasy, and not just, you know, horny stuff for the guys. Yeah. Look at that. I suppose we could collapse those two down. We can at least get rid of all of this. At least. Probably a little bit of that too, and get rid of all of this. And we need to keep practicing. Like that. What else have I been up to? I did another experiment with some pixel art. Obviously, Krita does have like full pixel art. You don't see. No, that's. It's so weird. I don't know if that's a Linux thing or if that's a Krita thing or an OBS thing, but whatever. Because it does have brushes for pixel art. Maybe I could use the dithering. Interesting. Right. But basically, yeah, it has 3 pixel art brushes, which gives you everything that you need to get started, as it were. I need it to be black. And yeah, that's good enough. And the whatchamacallit? But there's another function that you can, which is just essentially a filter that you put on. You can apply your classical art, digital art skills, and just do that normally. And then when you're happy and done with it, you can just go like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna. Put this pixel filter on it. Apparently in the pixel art community, that's not true pixel art, but I'm not that much of a purist. Let's see, how many are we talking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost a dozen. Yeah, so I could do that. Like, it doesn't necessarily look bad per se, and her boots are a bit on the plain side. But then again, a lot of her character design is already pretty busy as it is. Like I don't know. But we'll have to put a pin on that. But yeah, like basically it allows you this whole pixel thing allows you to sort of like create essentially high resolution high resolution images and just have them enough. That's probably not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I do a goop? In my spacing, perhaps? Yeah, the spacing is off. That is, well, pooey pants. There we go. We start all over again, chat. That's how we learn. And yeah, so I kind of want to like, basically, if we want to try to circle tie back to the things that I was trying to think of. Still struggling with paying attention to what I'm drawing and yapping about something. Basically, these 3D models, I go like, by finding them, I can use them pretty much like a reference, the same way that I'm doing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. And if we delete that one, what do we do then? What are we left with then, chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It still looks off for some weird reason. Yeah, the spacing is a little bit off, but you know what? I'm just gonna leave it like that. If people are willing to dig up the same model and do counting on like the holes on her boots in my most likely subpar manga, they're more than welcome to. And complain about it, go like, oh, my immersion is ruined because you didn't do your due diligence. You're a fraud. And I go like, yeah, what do you want me to do about it? All right. And that's probably the 25. Let's color the sucker in because why not? Or we could stretch our legs a little bit, chat, and use some, expand our toolbox just a little bit. Like it's yeah, probably here. There might be a way to sort of go like, go back one click that you make with this tool, but I haven't really found a way out of it. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe in the maybe in some point in the future, I might be making Captain Marvel comic and a Predator comic. If I really get off my ass and actually sit down and learn Godot, you know, who knows? Maybe I could actually sit down and make that Predator game that I always wanted. Well, pull a Thanos and go like, fine, I'll do it myself. Since they can't be bothered. I mean, way back in the way in PlayStation 2 era, there was Predator Concrete Jungle, which is a title that absolutely low-key slaps. I'm gonna make a new layer for this. And I'm gonna have to, I would like to move. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna lower the opacity on this one, and I'm gonna see if I can indicate some structure here with using the white. Hang on, that's not gonna show up anyway because I'm gonna never mind then. Never mind, chat. I was oh, that's it's this ink layer. It looks a little bit too pointy there. All right, I'm just gonna collapse that down because it's ink. All right, that's I suppose we could, you know, just go with a solid. Isn't it something like that? Yeah, like that. So that home, turn that into an eraser, and then trim that all the way down to here. Collapse that down to the ink layer, and then go back to our selection tool. So next Tuesday, I sort of intend to finally get around to upgrade my avatar. Same design, just keep, you know, the whole thing, keep it simple, stupid, same design, but I just like to higher resolution, maybe a higher resolution, and also just yeah, pixel art. Could be fun to try. This guy does have some expressions, isn't it? Yeah, like how you doing, chat? I'm kind of just chilling, happy, not that happy, not that confident, and now I'm angry. So I believe you can have probably more states than this guy kind of going. Let's just be chill. Let's be chill today, chat. I'd also like did some silly googling of a Steam Deck, and apparently it does have at least certain models have support for it. Have Linux support, I mean. But they had a pretty spicy price tag. especially considering my employment situation. And go like, yeah, that's a bit too spicy for my blood. So I'm not gonna spend that kind of money when I, strictly speaking, don't have to. That is not happening. Whoa. We kind of need to align. Isn't this the same alignment? Yeah, it should be. Oh, why am I struggling with aligning? Yeah, because oh, there's a gap here. The more you know, chat, the more you know. Because like the bottom of this needs this corner here is the same as that corner over there. We're like, it needs to be even bigger. If things, there you go, chat. Or close enough. There we go. All right. This is boot side. And we'll just copy paste that and boot back. And then we'll delete everything that's inside that group. And we will go back to our, hey, look at that. So, yeah. Lots of projects, chat, but this has never really been a problem of mine, like coming up with projects ideas. The problem is following through. And then of course becomes like, because I can't settle for like, oh yeah, let's just draw a box and treat that as a project and keep it that. No, I need to do something big and massive. Because I do it so big and massively, I get overwhelmed, I run into a wall, and I fail. And because I run into a wall and fail, we kind of have to figure out. They're left incomplete and hollow, abandoned. So even this is notoriously right. It's right on par with what I usually do in chat, which is let's make a manga. But for once, I would like I'm kind of low-key gambling on that me streaming is a form of accountability, right? Gotta stay accountable. Can't disappoint chat. So that is the that's the logic, chat. That's the logic behind my madness. But like, it does look like it goes out and then chips. So it is maybe that's just a texture effect. I don't know. Okay, that's way too. Yeah, maybe I can do something with that. Maybe. Yeah, I can cook with that. It's not perfect. But it doesn't have to be perfect because because we, us digital artists, have the transformation tool. Suck it, Drawbox. I'm not salty. You are salty. Yeah, and then I also need to like do. After I'm done with her, Alicia Klaus, we need to do another character sheet for our damsel. Our dude. And then we can actually start doing stuff. Script writing is not exactly something that I had in mind for this when I started this channel, started streaming. So that'll probably be something that will happen off screen. I'm not gonna say that I'm the. I have done a lot of creative, not necessarily a lot, but a good chunk of creative writing in the past. Dabbled into, fell down the fan fiction rabbit hole. In the early 2000s, with when Final Fantasy VIII blew my gosh darn brains out. Speaking of Final Fantasy VIII, I stumbled upon a YouTube Shorts earlier today, which is kind of like, I can't remember the name of the channel, but he does some very good character and theme analysis of video games. He's done Dark Souls 2, which is phenomenal because like Dark Souls 2 is like the black sheep of the Souls family, Soulsborne family, and he breaks it down so well in just these tiny little thoughts, go like, oh, of how it's the themes of identity and something like that, like how it ties into the character designs, and like, yeah, you know, these aren't, they're just, a lot of the boss fights are just dudes in armor, but like, hey, but if you're actually paying attention to and study their armor, then you kind of go like, all right, and then it just goes off. Fantastic. And unfortunately, Hinder goes like, oh yeah, like if you like more of this kind of like sort of stuff that I'm doing here, like and subscribe and all of that, but also check out my channel. And I go like, oh cool, like if your shorts are this if your YouTube shorts are this good, then your long form videos, even if they're like, or quote unquote long form, even if they're like just 20 minutes or whatever, they gotta be absolute. I gotta check this out because that you know, this stuff is fire. And check out his videos, and he's like, and to my disappointment, he was just like, he had several long multiple long form videos of Dark Souls 2, but it was a playthrough. I was like, I'm not here to see you, and it wasn't like I'm gonna play through Dark Souls 2 and also yap about you know, oh yeah, characters and themes and stuff, and oh yeah, if you pay attention to the environmental design, it's meant like such and such is meant to invoke blah blah blah. The little that I watched is go like, none of that, none, and I'm like, aww. I was so incredibly disappointed because, like I said, his short form videos were just like, yo, this is awesome. But anyway, he had a video of Final Fantasy VIII, and we went over the main love interest, Renua Hartley. And I was like, yes, this is so good. And again, like, it was on good, it was on point. I was just nodding, yep, this dude gets it, my man. And it just took me back to a simpler time, chap, when I was a wee little lad, and I remember I was swept away by Final Fantasy VIII. Like, it took me 3 minutes, and I was like, okay, now I'm a fan. I'm a fan. 3 minutes, because that's how long the intro video is, or the first CG cutscene with the Latin choirs and the visuals. I'm like, back then I was, 18, 17 years old, and I go like, I didn't have, not that I'm a mega brain now, but I learned a few things since then, and I like much thanks to, like, I watched a lot of YouTube essays going about this. People are smarter and more who actually have degrees in this sort of thing, and point out things that flew over my head. So I picked up a few things from them, but it was so, what's the word? Vindicated? I think it's vindicated. Let's just actually Google that before I yeah. Close enough. Vindicated, yeah. I was so vindicated from, like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. This is, like, oh yeah, Renua Hartley works as a character because X, Y, Z, and look at the character design, and how opposite she is, the opposite she is of Squall, and how her character design reflects that opposition, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, yeah. Because back in the day, and I suppose still to this day, people go like, yeah, Final Fantasy 7, and I suppose to an extent 9, are just like, definitely 7. Ooh. No. Is like peak, like massive influence on how the Final Fantasy series is seen, how RPGs are seen. Like, it's a cultural behemoth. There's no denying that. And also then Final Fantasy 9 is kind of like old school. I'm almost calling it old school Minecraft, but I have no idea where that brain fart came from. Old school Final Fantasy, before that predates my time. But with the cutting edge crispness of PlayStation 1 graphical fidelity. So people were like, yeah, that's my jam right there. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. And squashed in between is Final Fantasy VIII. And Final Fantasy VIII, I will die on this hill, chat. Final Fantasy VIII is not a bad game. It's okay. But being okay between the absolute Giga Chat peak that is Final Fantasy VII and, the nostalgia, not necessarily, I wouldn't say nostalgia bait, but like nostalgia homage to the good old days, for the lack of a better term. Hang on, did I forget that line on the profile view? Oh yeah, there's a diagonal line that goes down there, but oh well. It goes like down here. I suppose we could put that right. One of those things. It's barely visible in this angle, but yeah, it's there. Anyway, boot side, boot back. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, like being good is not when you're stuck between. It's like you're a decent sized hill between two pretty big, towering, imposing mountains. And so just go like, yeah. And it's so unfortunate. And I remember being on online forums just going like, no, Final Fantasy, what are you talking about? Final Fantasy VIII is solid. And we bickered and argued because, of course, I was a teenager and I had nothing better to do. Online forums before, that's what it was like. And before the dark times, before Reddit and social media. We found a forum. It was essentially just a micro. It was more or less a microcosm of what Reddit is today, but you know, you had options. If you didn't like what they were doing on that forum, go like, well, screw it. Like other forums on like in this day and age are like a dime a dozen, so screw it. I'll just pack up and leave. Like, that's what people did. Started their own forums. Because there was like this standard template kit that you could just go like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take that and we're gonna plug it in. And I have no idea how do I I suppose we could just, but then again, yeah, it becomes one of these things because you want to show the planes of it, because if it becomes this big black blob, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have problems, chat. And if I remember correctly from one of the mangas that I looked at, I studied it a little bit detailed to see how they do the halftone thing. You can have something that is very dark. It's something that, technically speaking, should, you know, it's so, the fabric or whatever it is so dark that the highlights do not become white. They can also have a halftone. They can have also fairly dark halftones. I wonder if we're gonna experiment a little bit with that here. What one was that called? It was a very horny manga that I looked at and I go like, oh, because the main lady in that manga had dark hair, but to show, but there are the highlights in her hair. Were not, they were not white, as one would expect. They normally are. They had like a very dark halftone into them. Like, that is interesting. It is one of those things that I guess you start to have to learn, because it's not that I read. I may very well read a lot of manga and webtoon, but I'm just consuming it, if that makes sense. I'm not studying it, not on a higher level of consciousness, if that makes sense. It's just go like, oh yeah. Every once in a while, once on a blue moon, I make a connection. It's go like, oh yeah, oh, would you look at that? That was a neat little thing. That's how they do. That was a cool little trick. But for the most time, it's just go like, I don't. Probably because I don't like it, but I don't read to. When I'm reading, I'm like, no, I wanna. Oh goodness, Tiki. I read to be entertained. I don't go like want to do like freaking school homework or whatever. Like what the heck? No, that's not what I want to do. I want to be entertained. And okay, but oh, wrong layer. Like that, and then I guess we will just. How does this work, chat? Oh. But hopefully the next character will, like, since she is the main character, we're just gonna go, like, since Alicia is gonna be our main character, we're just gonna skimp out a little bit and be a bit of a douchebag and go and make our lovely protagonist or damsel, just very simple in terms of character design. It's my comic and I can do what I want. Yeah. An interesting thing, another thing that got me thinking when I was flipping through making comics, and also the prequel, Understanding Comics. Good resources. It's not restricted to mangas, it's just comic medium as a whole, but a lot of good tips and tricks. Come on. Or that apply regardless of genre. You know, it's more for the medium as a whole rather than one specific thing. Yeah, okay, good enough. Boom. Get me out of here, chat. Ugh. And yeah. So that got me thinking of like comic book scripts, because we can't go in without a plan, chat. Gotta have a plan. And transform vertically. Where did that go? No, I can't never. I can never. I always keep messing up horizontally. Where are we? Here we are. It's almost like might have just been better if I just didn't do all the hassle and just go like call it quits and just erase it. But anyway, comic book scripts. Comic book scripts was just like not really much of a script writer in that sense. I'm going like more like just traditional novels, short stories, that kind of thing. And of course, there's no real answer to how to base how to approach a comic in that sense. I know Alan Moore, he just crammed as many words as he could on a single page and just handed it over to the artist and go like, yeah, all right, you figure it out. And the artist was like, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and had to sort of pick and choose what was working, what would work, what wouldn't work. And then sort of what to include, what not to include, and how to include it, and so on and so forth. Kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet. And that's more my kind of thing. So I need to write... Basically, I need to write a short story of incorporating Edgar Allan Poe's Raven poem. I really like the idea of a raven just sitting there and spewing out Nevermore whenever obviously whenever it's appropriate. And I do have some, what's it called? Framed Ink. It's a book that's very good on perspective. Not perspective, but drawing and composition for visual storytelling by Marcus Mathieu Mestre. Sounds like a French fella. Probably butchered his name. Terribly sorry about that. But he also has like Frame Perspective 1, Volume 1, and Frame Perspective Volume 2. Volume 2 is more character specific, and Volume 1 is just perspective in general. But Framed Ink specifically talks about like storytelling and composition and so on and so forth. So I go like, and there are like, there's one example in that book that I'm going like, I am gonna steal that 100%. Because it's so cool. It's very complex, at least by my standards. It's pretty freaking complex, but. And what you know, toilet break. Don't touch that dial, chat. I'll be right back. All right. We're back. We're back, chat. We're back. We're live. Whew. I don't think I ever got the memo from the Hydro when they said, hey, if you drink a lot of water, you need to go to the bathroom a lot. Not that I'm complaining. It's a good way to get some stretch out, and so on and so forth. Where were we? Subject-wise and drawing-wise and everything, I have no idea. Apparently, when I know I know what we can do. Apparently, when I leave a room and enter another room, I just do a hard memory reset, apparently. But yeah. I mean, it's kind of like close to center. Probably be a flat line, something like that. And then we sculpt that one. Not that one. I suppose we can collapse and go back and something like that. Maybe, chat. I have no idea. I'm just trying to survive. Yeah, why not? Oh. I'm not okay, it's a bit hard to see, but I would assume that this kind of just stops there. There's ends here. Alliance throne. Why does that sound like a pretty cool podcast or something? Art podcast. Alliance throne. And what if we just tilt it in? Tilt this one in. Something like that. Yeah. We collapse those two. And then we can just erase these guys down to here. And then we can erase those up to there. And clean up our lines. And boom, there you go. Look at that. Look at that, chat. It's a little bit off by like 1 pixel. But you know what? As much as that bothers me, I'm not gonna let that bother me too much. Okay, so I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I don't think we're even gonna bother hollowing these guys out because we are going to be connecting a bunch of lines between these guys. So they kind of start with a almost like a flat one there, and then go diagonal, 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 diagonal. And then we're just gonna go back down again. Look at that, chat. It's kind of beautiful, not gonna lie. Look at that. I mean, it looks good from a distance. Looks like kind of a little bit crappier up close, but, you know. Something like that. We collapse that down. And then, I don't know, we have like a ribbon here and another ribbon there and some string out there and string out there. Like, boom, there you go. All right, Joe. We can start with the jet black. And we can do the constant adding. Yeah. G. Boom. Alright, thank you for your services. You did wonderful, Alicia. There we go. Probably need to go back to 100%. Alright, look at that. Look at that, chat. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. Alright, halftones, 25% mask. Alright, 25%. We need you to get down to 25. 25. Thank you. And where are we at? We're here. I guess we can just work our way around. Like such. Now, I'm not sure if this 25% thing is going to be good enough for the highlight thing that I was thinking about, but we'll see. That would probably be this part right here. That needs... Right. So that's the heel. And if I lower the opacity here, what I want and what I need is for... Oh, of course I removed the reference, like it... Yeah. It's kind of what I thought. No, that's... This is what I would like to do. Now we can erase a bit here, and we can try to make it thin. But again, I don't think that that is going to be enough. So, how about... how about that? How about some 50% highlight on that? Or hang on. Does that work? No. Well, we can try with 50. Let's try it with 50. We can also just try with straight, because the paper is underneath the ink. I think that's... I have no idea what that means. I'll leave it at the 50 for now, and we can always iron out the details later, chat. That's not gonna come back and bite me in the butt later on. Not at all. All right. Now. I would like to get the sleeves and the boots up like that. And I kind of want to just move those suckers. And then we have the machine gun, which of course is way too big. Now we're gonna move. There we go. So it has some breathing room between the different things. All right. Now on to the main event. That just took me an hour and a half to draw a couple of boots. What's that? 45 minutes each. I am so cooked, chat. I am so cooked. I'm gonna be old and gray by the time I'm done with this manga. Holy crap. Anyway. Now, from... I suppose we could just copy that, paste, delete everything inside of it, and go... I know. Everything's okay, chat. No reason to panic. Being a klutz, as is tradition. Here we go. Alright, so I'm kind of just interested in the
6 primal or 6 pure expressions, basically. So our winners is anger, disgust, fear, joy, sadness, and surprise. Those are our main colors. We're going to try to capture that. Those 6 with this kind of style. The only difference, like, it's like I like the simplified mouth and nose and eyes. Like the simplified features is the main appeal to me. And also like, yeah, I like it. I just generally like how it looks. Might again tweak it a little bit. Yeah. And obviously her hair needs to be a little bit different to better reflect Alicia's here specifically, which is kind of like parted on the middle, and she has, the biggest thing is like she's parted in the middle and she has this one strand from the front that is where it actually has this little jewelry, I have no idea what that's called, in her hair, which I so brilliantly marked in this early illustration. Okay. So. I'm kind of curious with I suppose the sketch should be underneath. Because I stumbled upon this might be a little bit too big, but I stumbled upon that's a good circle. Granted, he was talking about gesture, or rather what to do after you put down the gesture. Something that kind of eluded me. Like I've seen it explained or demonstrated, but like it didn't fully click. But his video was good at it. But he also talked about like kill your darlings kind of thing. And of course this book keeps closing on me, which is annoying. How am I gonna rectify that? Oh, it's a cell phone. It's a smartphone. Well, an advantage of having an absolute brick of a smartphone. Anyway. But like this guy, when he was talking about like kill your darlings and all of that, like instead of having dozens of layers down, he was just go like, no, you have one sketch layer, which I know is, for me, is a little bit terrifying, but go like, you have one sketch layer and you draw something, and then you soft erase it maybe once or twice, and you know, you refine it, you add to it, you soft erase that a couple of times, you add to it again, right? But the point is basically that this was his point. Like, you would just, instead of keep going over it, you would just instead of keep like layers and opacity and stuff and that, you go like, no, I'm just gonna do
gonna say about me what I'm saying about me in Discord? I have no idea, chat. And since it comes from Kick, I was kind of wondering when. But they're not pushing now. They're not pushing bots anymore. I might have outlasted them on the bot side, but. Oh well. So, yeah. You draw something, soft erase it, refine it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Soft erase it. And you just keep doing that until you're satisfied, basically, with whatever the heck it is that you wanted to draw, and then possibly soft erase it one final time, and then, you know, the inks. And he also went into all the details of, like, you don't want to lose your gesture and primary and secondary. Alright, and then you can ditch the sketch layer, and then you go like, yeah, because you've gone over. I have no idea, but that one kind of looks like nice for some reason. But yeah, so we're gonna try that, chat. We're gonna try that with we're just gonna try that with I'm gonna set it for 10. Maybe that is a decent brush size. Yeah, why not? Because this is 5, I think, so yeah, whatever. Okay. Maybe make it a bit smaller. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. So we are going for, what are we going for? Angry? Her head is not that wide. Come on. All right. Symmetry? Yeah, why not? And we just sort of we're gonna going straight on, chat, straight on. And we need to sort of trim away. That might be a bit too much. Wait for the autosave to complete. I might have been a little bit too aggressive with the autosave because it keeps, yeah, something like that. Chat, and like it's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's, I think that, isn't that the halfway point? Yeah, pretty much. Again, we don't need it to be super accurate, but it's from the something like that.
Probably not overthink it too much. Maybe. A little bit more pointed chin because of that, it's more feminine. Clean up these inside lines, clean up these outer lines. So we have a little nice sketch. Ear. Something like that. Clean up the inside to get a better sense of the overlapping forms. Get rid of that. Like that. There it goes. Trying to remember what the heck I was doing during the Doodle Warrior. Yeah, now we have, yeah. Now it's coming back to me, chat. Long-term memory for the win. Okay. But what he does is he sort of does, he draws the cranium, the eyeballs for the cranium, something like that. The eye sockets for the cranium, sorry. That's what he does. And of course, that might be a little bit too. And like, granted, that one is a bit tilted. Well, I do have profile view here, so the bottom of the ear is at the bottom of the nose. So those ears apparently need to be a little bit longer because the nose is going to be around here. Okay. And then you have the mouth there. Alright, something like that. Her neck is gonna... It's gonna be a bit difficult to see her neck, but yeah. Yeah, like she does have a bit of a chin, but... like a thin... It's a bit... that's a tricky part, chat. I'm going like, yeah, there we go. It's like... Something like that. Ah, there we go. Beautiful. Symmetry for the win. Okay. That chin might be too pointed. Oh well. We will... Alright, so now the interesting part comes. F10, so we just need to soft erase everything. And then, I mean, I can copy the sketch. I'm just gonna lock one so I don't have to do it all over again. And he has, like, he does this, like,
looks so horrible. Anyway. La, 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 la. Look at the reference, look at the reference. What are we looking at? Like we're going for anger. We're not going for... Which basically mean... I mean... Probably... She's becoming a more cutesy than anything, but you know, whatever. I'll just have to try, chat. That is not very... Those are not very feminine eyebrows at all. Why is this so hard? And like he only does that little tip thing there, and but yeah, I don't think that he's ever. I don't. He hasn't really. Yeah, okay, maybe this is a better. Maybe this is a better example. Paste this reference image. There she's angry. Right. Full round eyes. But yeah, he does this. Okay, doesn't matter. Again, doesn't really matter. Okay. And it's just a sketch, guys. It's just a sketch. How he may very well be that the symmetry ruler is tripping me out, but it's something about, yeah, I think it's a symmetry ruler that's really tripping me out, because he has this little there we go. Of course, now it's way too thick. sharp into crisp. Like, yeah, I can't replicate the texture that he's going for here, but you know, he has also this little. Now we can bring back the symmetry ruler because I feel like he has this little shaped thing here. It's about finding the style and refining the method. Finding a method to the madness, chat. And that's not always super easy. Barely an inconvenience. He has a longer. Gosh darn, autosave. Let me. Oh, wow. Kick Gang is kicking up the chat. All right. Let's see here. What's going on? Yeah, all right. Well, we're cooking with something here. Like if we straighten this one out. Yeah, that's a not so. That is an expression that's not so half bad, chat. Asymmetry for the win. That. Yeah, I'll probably start rounding out this sketch a little bit. Something like that. Alright. Soften it up. I'm not fully sold on this thing here. All right. I mean, yeah. We're getting there, chat. We're getting there. Okay. Let's see if we can do something here. Man. Kick is kicking up the storm. Let's see. Yeah, maybe not getting too overly invested in this little ear thing. Something like that. I can, yeah, turn off the symmetry ruler because we're not going to need the ear on that side because lady's got hair all over the frickin' place. Okay, let's see if we can do the hair now, chat. And she, our lady, our bullet witch, excuse me, Alicia Klaus has a split, more or less, dead in the center. And which is fine. Fair enough. So we're just gonna, I don't know, start at the top. I don't know, maybe some sort of zigzag, something like that. Oh. Goes to 56. All right. Oh. If you say so. I'm not sure who you're screaming to though. There's nobody else on kick in here, as far as I can tell. So, but knock yourself out. All right, and this we have anyway. Back to the drawing. Yeah, it goes pretty far down. Yeah, even in my goes pretty far down. But we'll just leave it like that. And it has a, yeah, it has a decent root. Something like that. Alright, and that jewelry she has is underneath her eye. So that comes here. I'm just gonna draw that in like such. Look at that. It's actually, it's more elongated. Oop. Oh boy. That was not what I wanted to do. Is that the reference, by the way? Don't want that. Yeah, tricky. Alright, well, don't get too caught up on the perfect part of it. Let's just keep trucking. Alright. Yeah, so this is bulk of this is, can we do this with one brush stroke? Chat, that remains to be seen. No. this auto-saving is aggressive. It's kind of bothering me. Settings, configure Krita, general. Color changing plugin manager, blah, 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 blah. Performance. Let me do a little quick little Google. There to save. Every 15 minutes, holy smokes. Okay, I was on the right track. Let's see. Settings, configure Krita, general, file handling. Every 7 minutes? What in the world? Can I just type in here? Once an hour ought to be more than enough. It's a little bit too. It's a little bit too aggressive with every. Okay. I'll just have to do a little bit more manually saving. Anyway, where were we? Okay. Right. We were here. Back to 10. And maybe back to drawing again. Okie dokie. So that's going that way. This other. This is a very 2007 character design, so we're just gonna do something. I don't know, something like that. Try to get that flow, like a little bit of it. I don't think that she should do that extreme over her eye. Trying to. Yeah. A little bit. I know that it's going like, oh yeah, the answer is ribbons, but I go like, as much as I know that the answer is ribbons, it's still tough for me to do. I probably don't need the entire side of their head now that I think about it. Let's just soft erase that, just push it back a little bit. That is good. All right. I don't know. We gotta go with the whole big, medium, small too, just to keep things visually interesting. Right. Doesn't stick it out, but right. And then she has one big that kind of goes in front and comes behind. Oh my goodness. As you can see, chat, I am not very good when it comes to drawing hair. And it might be a little bit... Shouldn't surprise me. But, I'm not gonna lie, chat, the disappointment is nonetheless real. Yeah, but like, he's been He's been doing that for 6 years, little by little, chipping away at it, and here I am, and go like, oh yeah, here. I have no idea how to, like, I don't know, maybe I should just erase that one last one and just go that way. Oh my goodness, that doesn't look anything like her, but hey, I think that her face is too elongated. Like, if I, granted, this isn't really much, like, her head is slightly tilted downwards, but so if we lower the opacity a bit here and try to bring it to scale. Yeah. Like his is, yeah. Yeah, much rounder and softer in the face. But this is how we learn, chat. This is how we learn. So, how are we gonna fix that? I suppose we could just take everything here and shrink it down a bit. Like such. See if we can salvage this. I mean, at now, it's just a sketch anyway, so... You know, proportion-wise, it just looks worse. Does he have someone that is like... head on? Oh, man. It's a simple style, but it's... Yeah, okay, this one is... Let's see, take screenshot, download. Or no, take screenshot, copy, and gotta get them references, paste in this reference image. Okay, Wang. Because I'm not sure if... Okay, so it's the eyes by the looks of it. Of course it's the eyes. Yeah, shoulders, like the neck could be probably be a little bit longer. Hair doesn't look too bad? Question mark? It would have been better if I had you as my reference, you as my guiding light. Well, it's one of those things, Chad. You're kind of like, well, it's just a sketch, and it's part of the thing. Just thinking it is not enough. Doing it is also important. So, yeah. As much as it sort of sucks to sort of like, I don't like this trying desperately to salvage something, but gotta keep remembering to just be like, well, yeah, it's just a sketch. And like her hair, of course, she has hair that goes around. Oh, comes sort of like around on the back as well. I don't know, something like that. There's some similar, of course, like it's on her. Yeah, it's on. Is it on the same? Sorry. Decor all on the same side. It looks like it. It's on. No. Opposite. Like duh. Her arm is sticking out. Her arm should have been a big indication. Chat. Her arm should be a big indication. Maybe if we erase, just keep it that. Let's just keep it simple for now. This is a pencil texturing thing, and this is more like neutral, pleasant facial expression, which is not what I'm going for, but it's something to keep in mind. I mean, we're getting there, chat. But, you know, doesn't really look. Yeah. What was I thinking? Yeah, because like I know I looking at the reference, maybe. Yeah, because like it's so soft and delicate, the style that he has, like it'd be difficult to sort of like find the balance between what you. All right, yeah. You're on to something. Like yeah, you have like these lines here, but like that's just yeah. Because no, again, they are definitely there and they're part of the facial expression, especially when you're angry. But they are also
they also make people, or it's difficult to pull off because like they make people look old. So I'm kinda. Alright, let's just try crudely and color in her hair. Very, very simply and crudely, and I'm probably going about this in a very sloppy and inefficient way, but, you know, what can you do, chat? We are learning as we go along, stumbling, fumbling, bumbling around with all the grace of a juggling hippopotamus in a way too small china shop. But that's okay. Actually, I need to. This is the one that I want. I need to subtract the ear before I go to coloring town. Right, something like that. I mean, just adding... just adding the hair color already did, like, wonders to it. In my humble opinion. Well, my opinion isn't humble. I'm the grand master of this brilliant thing. But it's gonna be funny to look at this. Like, assuming I stick with it, it's gonna be funny to look back at this. Like, oh my goodness, look at the horror, how horrible things were. Well, humble beginnings and all of that, chat. Humble beginnings. I mean, I'm onto something. Like, yeah, it's rough, it's crude. But, like, she's not exactly super expressive. I mean, the game has a lot of flaws to it, and she's not exactly super emotive. By any stretch of the imagination. And I think, like, her neck is too thick. Or is it? Yeah. If we hold... try to get it to scale. Yeah, her neck is way too thick. Which also makes her, you know, more butch, less feminine. So yeah, it looks like a dude. But yeah, there's something to be said about you know, the simple what she does with her mouth. And I know from a tutorial that I watched from Winged Canvas, I watched it a couple of times with the, like, expressions and so on and so forth. Like, you could have the same eyes, but you're just fiddling around with the eyebrows can do a lot to elevate a oh yeah, that little white dot in there, like that little shine, does a lot. Her hair is like it looks like a rag. It's just put onto her, not not hair. I'm obviously not going to go for the whole pencil rendering thing that Chumang here did, but yeah, I might have to watch some more of his tutorials. Study his process a little bit closer, because yeah. But like I'm on to the general gist of it. It's just turning on the symmetry roller. Probably gonna like if we do this. Oh yeah, that is. But yeah, like I guess we could easily try and remedy the neck thing. Like it was there. Let's do it here. Okay. Let's see, just for reference. Yeah, that is much closer to it. Like an appropriate length too. That helped. That helped a lot. Oop. That's not what I wanted. Oh, something like that. Yeah, like it's rough, it's crude in places, but it gives me, and it is a starting point, chat. Huh. Oh, cool. I just need to do that like 500,000 times over. And this isn't boot side. This is expression. Anger, in theory. In theory, chat. I suppose we could also do the whole white paper. Just to really capture her stunning beauty. Yeah, but the trick is not to get discouraged. But that's, again, that is hard, that is difficult when you are just starting out, because your expectations might be very high, but like, you know what, I'm just gonna, but you gotta start somewhere, and like, sure, I could draw this kind of face 10,000 times over and get really good at it. But I would also, I mean, that whiteness made it pop a little bit more. Or I could just make a comic and use the comic to cut my teeth at drawing this face. But yeah. Granted that yeah, maybe the air is a little bit, yeah, the air, my ear is up here. Yeah, should have been lower. Oh well, like I said, sketch. Yeah, like it's not super expressive in terms of angerness, angry, but I don't know. Yeah, because you have, I don't know, it looks more like sternness. He's stern, or yeah. Something to be outraged, but yeah. Well, what are we? No, 2.5 hours in. Well, I think I'm gonna call this one done. Actually, I'm just gonna, maybe if I just get rid of the whole. Yeah, then it becomes. Yeah, then it becomes much more manageable. Right. Okay, so I can essentially just ditch that sketch. Basically. And I suppose I could also just push this whole thing. Or I could collapse it. Sketch. Yeah. And well, now it's just just shorter here than she should. I'm not entirely sure how to handle. Long hair or there. Hang on, that's good. This could actually. Let me cook here, chat. This could be a happy little accident. Because now, since it needs to be quote unquote, not exactly on a separate layer, but. Oh. We just do something like this. And then something like this. We can do oh.
maybe if we just have something that cuts really. Oh. Let me just erase it with that. Okay, now. Refinement, but refinement comes from doing things 100 trillion times over. But it's much better to do that, those reps in there, trying to make something. Oh, that was the wrong rush. And we kind of already have like that. One is deeper than the other. You see it, chat? Yeah. It's both a style study and a method. I'm trying to figure out my method and how to my workflow, the technical things of the tools and the technique. And also sort of the flow of the whole thing. All at once, so it's no wonder that my brain is cooking. My brain is getting cooked, chat. My brain is getting cooked. Yeah. Which basically means I should probably cool it down with some water. Don't touch that dial, chat. I'll be right back. All right, now we're back in business. All right, so I suppose in theory I should also do a profile shot of her, but I think for now I should, technically speaking, I should do a profile, you know, 3/4 and profile kind of thing for all expressions. But if we're doing that, I think we're gonna run out of space. So instead we're just gonna move on and see if we can finish discuss. Or you know, she could be like the silent yet deadly type. She could be that, chat. Like, not very expressive, and we can have the damsel be very expressive. That is not necessarily solving the problem. Just kicking it further down the road. But that's also a bit of a hallmark of mine. But I could. But I'm a little bit more familiar with drawing man's faces than female faces, male faces than female faces. But we'll just have to see. All right, discuss. Should be simple. Like, eyebrows are neutral, and eyes are closed, and kind of like seems to be more like, and again, like the whole face kind of just squints up. But again, like it's a very, I'm kind of shot myself in the foot here with the whole maybe if I'm still a bit too dependent on reference. Unfortunately. And still, but again, like, I'm not entirely sure if her eyes are... Yeah, everything's too... It doesn't look too wrong, but like maybe he just likes gives them a very big forehead. I don't know. Yeah, because like all the like on this one, like it's almost like all the facial features need to be further down by almost like the exact same amount. Because if I align the facial features, then things don't look too bad. Yeah, because the hair looks right and the chin looks right. It's just that the facial features. But like, again, I'm not. That isn't. Again, it's not my strongest suit to. So let's just do the. Not exactly a cheat sheet, but. Alright, we're gonna give it some wiggly room for the hair. We're just gonna use use this as a basically use it as a base, kinda. And this is more or less what I did during the Doodle Warrior Academy. Go like they go up here and down to the ear. We have the brow line, the hairline, and of course we have the center line, chin, go down like that, and then boom. And we will soften that out later, chat. Don't you worry. Yeah, that looks a bit horrifying, to be honest. But, oh, that was a big brush. A big brush came out of nowhere. Alright, there we go. And we're just gonna remove that. And isn't that kind of where the mouse and... Oh, okay, that is the top of the mouse. Alright, so it needs to be a little bit lower than that. Okay, cool. Right, now her eye socket would be something akin to that. I'm gonna go for the skull thing. I'm gonna clean up this mess here. Oh, I can go like that. Simple shoulders. Okay, cool. If that is our initial sketch, we're gonna erase that sucker down. And now it's gonna be interesting because we're doing eyes closed. Gonna do it eye closed. Eyebrows are not necessarily. Eyebrows are kind of like more or less straight. All right. Straight. Those are some big bushy eyebrows, like holy crap. Right, a little bit thicker than 10. I'm trying to make this taper a little bit. Yeah. Curve this sucker. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's still so brushy. That's it. Maybe we could. No, that makes it. Okay. And then it's kind of just like straight up closed. It needs a, like another example. Do you have okay this one? But like she's no. You
good one for eyes. Take screenshot, boom, copy. That is a good one. Edit, paste. Of course, I should have done this before stream started. Not finding them at the tail end, but hey, you know. It gives you an idea of how he draws eyes, but and just gives you an idea of how expressive they can be. But I'm kind of... I don't think that he does any... this one is almost closed. And I do the same thing that I do always. I fall down the rabbit hole of looking for the perfect reference. But they always have this tranquil look in their eyes. Okay, there's one. It's kind of just closed. There's one too. And again, it's just like there's a hand. Oh, it's just curves. All right. Yeah, it's just a couple of curved lines, basically. For the closed line. Right, so they're not. But we can curve them slightly by sort of sculpting the lines, doing like that. Yeah, like he pushes the eyebrow very much. Yeah, I done goofed. Well, that's what you get. This one is a... It's not necessarily a dud, but like you would probably have to... You could change the proportions a little bit and push it much more, as you can see here. And still be... It would still be valid in his style, kind of thing. I like doing this, but like eyes is one thing, and kind of like you want to do, but I don't want to do just the eyes. I want to be able to do the whole frickin' face. Okay. And also obviously not just be a pure. The base of the nose is a little bit south of where the cranium ends. So the base of the nose would be here, and then the mouth would be around there, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe that one is a little bit, just a smidge higher. Okay. But what's interesting is like it's disgust. Now, how can we turn this good-looking face into something that is disgusted, while also we need to slap this sloppy hairstyle on top? I have a long road ahead of me, chat. I most certainly do. Like it wrinkles the nose. But wrinkling her nose kinda... too repetitive. That's the bottom of her nose.
That's the center of the lips, right? That's bottom of the, or the top of the bottom lip, actually. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Like this thing here remains very flat, and then both of these kind of curve dramatically. It's hard to do with the wrinkles. Because you want to show it was scrinked out, but like without the frickin' unfortunately, I'm afraid yes, yeah. But that's a dude. Guys can get away with much more wrinkles. Wait. Yeah, they do the... They have their whole visual language thing going on. At least with animated. I think they're just shadow, but they're like, yeah, they do the whole whatchamacallit. Ski mask goggle thing. Right. That sort of thing. And we'll go like tough. Better show, but like disgusting face. Yeah, I mean it's also angry and I don't know. All right, let's try this one. Just gotta try different things, chat. That's just how we do it. Hey, we'll keep this one. But apparently the key is that looks horrible. That certainly lacks. That is certainly a refinement that lacks something.
Eyes are way too close to one another. But we can fix that. Oh. Not perfect, but I'll take it. And then the mouth, we go like this is the upper lip. That's wrong. Right. Upper lip is something like this. I mean, that is a disgust. I mean, yeah. It could work. Or alternatively, is my brain so cooked because I'm just... Could be that too. That I'm at the end of my rope chat. Still. I wouldn't exactly call it a Christmas miracle, but... Which is the name of the song, but... Oh, yeah. 3 hours in. It's slow going, chat. It's slow going. It's not exactly the most entertaining thing in the world, but you know, it is what it is. But we got some work done today. We got a couple of boots, and we started with facial expression. We got one down, or 1.5, I suppose. So yeah, nice and slow. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do, chat. I think we're gonna call it here. Slowly and steadily building up that mental stamina. We're getting there. 2 viewers on YouTube. Well, sorry you caught me at a bad time. We're about to close up. But thanks for stopping by. Means a lot. Yeah. So we were gonna continue this on, what is it today? Is Friday? Today is Friday. So we will continue this on Sunday, 6 p.m. And yeah, YouTube's guys are gone, but yeah, 6 p.m. on Sunday. Hopefully we will make more progress then. Like, there's definitely room for improvement, but and flaws and all, I'm still happy with how that one turned out. So yeah, we'll just have to continue then and just keep at it, chipping at it a little by little. That's how we're gonna beat them, chat.
Yeah. Gotta stay, not necessarily stay in my lane, but stay in my stay in my weight class, I suppose. Yeah, not push myself to exhaustion, avoid burnout and frustration. Because if that really kicks in, then the whole thing gets abandoned, and I'd rather go half as bright, twice as long, kind of thing. We're in for the long haul after all, so. We're not just drawing for fun. I'm not drawing just for fun. It's studying, it's learning, which is much more mentally draining. Explanations, chat. Nice excuses. See you tomorrow. Or Sunday. Keep drawing. Keep having fun. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.